Hi. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Stretching with Strength. Today, we're going to work the spine and get it nice and loosened up because these are typically what I'm teaching you is moves to get your body going in the morning. So you've been on a bed, laying around for 7, 8 hours.
Attention.
Yes. And hopefully you've been laying around for 7, 8 hours. Spinal fluid gets a little gelled in one place or another. We're going to work it through our body, okay? So we're going to start off with that. And I just want to say a special good morning to Miss Lula and everybody else that is joining us today. So let's get into our seated position. You know what I'm going to do if you've been with me before. We're going to get into our natural seat, and then we're going to switch our legs. We got to keep our body guessing, okay? We always have that default move. Let's mix it up. Let's start at our neck, the very top of our head. That's where our spine starts. So here's what I want you to do. I just want you to gently drop your chin to your chest. Don't push it, just drop it. We're waking up the spine. Then I want you to tilt your head up towards the ceiling. And drop your neck towards your chin, towards your chest. And tilt your head up to the ceiling. Now, once your head's at the ceiling, I want you to look over to your left shoulder and then drop your chin to your chest. Very good, very good. Feel that gentle stretch. We're not yanking on anything. Look back up to the ceiling. Take your head to center. Take it to the right. And then drop your chin to your chest. Oh, that feels great. We're just doing slow moves, just waking this neck up and then take it back to neutral. Okay, so let's do a little chin to the chest, and then we're just going to roll our ear over to our left shoulder and then roll our right ear over to our right shoulder. Left ear goes towards the left shoulder. So now you should be feeling these moves a little farther down at the base of your neck where it comes into your shoulders. So keeping your chin low, and then you're just thinking about your ear going over to your shoulder. Ear going over to your shoulder. And we don't have to take it too far. That's a nice warm up, all right? So from here, let's warm up the shoulder complex and lift your shoulder blades up to your ears. Squeeze them up there like earrings. Squeeze them like they're a pair of earrings. And then push those shoulder blades down into what I would consider your back pockets. So think of your shoulder blades right on the back of your shoulders, coming up and then coming down. So your shoulders are going up, but I really want you to focus on those shoulder blades rising up with them. And then as you push your shoulders down, I really want you to move those shoulder blades down your rib cage. These shoulder blades are just attached with muscle, so they glide up and down your rib cage on your back. So lift up and squeeze, and then push down. We're giving those shoulder blades a little bit of a ride. Lift up and squeeze, and then push down. So it's a little bit different focus than what's going on right here. I want you to think of those shoulder blades. And once again, we're going to think of those shoulder blades. So I want you to push your hands in front of you here. And let's bring our palms like together. And I want you just to round, like you're hugging somebody, like you're reaching around and hugging somebody or hugging a tree. I love hugging trees. It looks a little weird, but I do it. I'm a tree hugger. And then open up. And as you open up, I want you to squeeze those shoulder blades together. So our focus is the shoulder blades. Now, as we come around, like we're going to give somebody a big bear hug, those shoulder blades are moving apart. They're moving sideways on your rib cage. And then let's open it up, squeezing those shoulder blades. Put your mind in those shoulder blades. And let's round around like you're just going to give somebody the best hug you've ever given them. Let's take it a little farther and just give ourselves a hug. And then go ahead and see if you can pat those shoulder blades. And then open it up, open it up, open it up. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, but open your chest up. Let your heart shine. Let your heart shine. And then go around, go around, go around. Let's take the other arm on top. We're going to give ourselves a hug, a nice little pat on the back. Reach around to those shoulder blades. And then open it, open it, open it, open it, open it. Let your heart shine for everybody to see. Now take your arms down and let's do a big deep breath. We need some oxygen with these moves too. So lift your palms up, taking in a nice breath, reaching up, up, up. Place your palms together in prayer fashion and then push them together as you bring them down towards your chest and exhale. Let's do that again. Lift up, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Keep it up here, hold that breath, keep the lungs full. Now exhale, exhale and push it down, push it down, push it down. Awesome. You should feel a little bit loose. The spine's getting nice and juicy. All the fluids are flowing. The shoulder blades are moving. Let's move from the hips a little bit. So let's go back to that seated position and we're going to recross our legs the other way. Okay. So now we're going to get these hip joints a little loosened up right in this crease. So just place your hands loosely on your knees. And then just roll around and you can let that back round. You can keep it flat, whatever feels good for you. Just do some rolls. Let your head kind of loosely hang on your shoulders and roll around. All right, come back to center. Let's reverse that roll. Give it a roll. You might hear little creaks and pops. It might be coming from your hips. It might be coming from your shoulders, your neck, your back. That's okay. Typically, those are just little gas bubbles that are inside the joints. And they're just squishing around and moving around. All right. So from here, we've been sitting here for quite a while. Let's open up the hips. So I want you to take your right leg and bring it back behind you. So your knee is probably at the top of your mat right here. And then your left foot, let's situate it so your left knee is at the top of your mat. So your knees are square right here. Your left hand is going to go behind you. And we're going to push up to our knees. So go ahead and push yourself up to your knees and reach your arms up to not both arms, your right arm up to the ceiling. Reach it up, reach it up. And as you're reaching up, you're opening up this front side of the body. But if you squeeze the back side of the body, this is going to open up even more. So reach up, squeeze the back side of the body. And now I want you to do a shoulder circle. So we got those shoulders pretty warmed up. You should have the creaks, fairly well out of them. But if you're still hearing stuff, that's okay. If you're hearing stuff and you have pain, don't move through that painful part. Just reach up to the ceiling with your shoulder. And circle. All right, bring it down. Okay, from here, we're going to stay folded like this. But we're going to take our hands and we're going to twist our torso. So this twist is not from our shoulders this time. It's going to be from our rib cage. So take your hands here. I want you to rotate your ribs over to the left side of your body. So we're rotating from here. Once you get to where you're going, we're going to plant our hands on the mat. All right. So walk your hands a little bit forward. And I want you just to take your elbows down to the mat. So you're in a nice fold here. You're getting a bit of a stretch through this area of the body, but we're going to go into opening up the hip a little bit more. So your right foot on this side, on the back, I want you just to gently lift it up off the mat, keeping your knee down, and put it down. Lift and lower. So what we're doing is we're getting a little rotation from this hip. If you're feeling it in your knee, don't go as high. because it's telling me that your hip is stuck. So I want it to come up. You don't feel anything in the knee. You feel it in your hip and you take it down, up and down, up with the foot and down. It won't go far. So now we're going to externally rotate this right hip. So what we're going to do now is we're going to keep the foot on the floor and we're going to lift the knee up and down, up and down. And everybody's different. Somebody might be able to get that knee way off the floor. You might not get it to budge. Use intention. Lift the knee. We're not shifting the body. We're staying over here with our rib cage facing the mat. And we're lifting the knee up and down. Let's do 2 more. Up and down. Okay, so come back up. Stay on the left side right here. I want you to swing your leg around. And we're going to cross it over this leg. Now, I don't want you pulling this leg in, okay? This is stretching with strength. So we're strengthening the parts that are moving our body while we're keeping this leg stationary. So it's a little bit different approach than you might find in other exercise classes. So what I want you to do is think of this rib cage again. This time we're going to rotate the rib cage to the right. So you can anchor here at your leg, but don't pull on it. So I want you to sit up tall and I want you to turn your rib cage to the right. Now you can take your right hand so you can get a little more movement, put it behind you, but keep rotating that rib cage to the right. So what we're doing, guys, is we're squeezing out that spine. Think of it as a dish rag, and you're squishing out all the toxins that accumulated in the night, squishing them out, putting them into our system so we can get rid of them and come back. So let's get that movement down. Let's get it again. We are stretching this hip, but we're not pulling it this way. We're using our knee as an anchor. I want you to grab your hand. I want you to sit up tall. I want you to think of the left side of your rib cage rotating over to the right. So you can place your hand here if you want. I prefer you to do the movement without the hand there. So go ahead and rotate that rib cage to the right. Think of just wringing that spine out. Now you can place your hand here and you might be able to get a little bit more movement. Look to the right as well. Take your head with it. That's awesome. That's awesome. And I do want to thank all you ladies for joining me this morning, getting up and moving your body. And let's take it back to center. Like I said at the beginning, these are moves to make you feel good. So if you grab onto one of these moves and you're like, oh, that just made my hip open up, or that made my shoulder open up, or that made my spine feel good, incorporate these moves in your daily routine. It just takes minutes to do it. Go back to the recording of this so you know you're getting it right. So guess what? We got to switch to the other side, right? So we're going to take our left leg and put it in front. It's going to be bent. Our knees right at the corner of the mat. Our right knee's at the corner of the mat. Our left knee's at the corner of the mat. So we're lined up. Hey there, girls. Hey, Carla. So we're lined up right here. And what I want you to do, remember, we're twisting the rib cage. So now the left side of the rib cage is coming over to the right. So we're up here. Now I want you to plant your hands on the floor in front of you. And I want you to walk them a little bit forward where you can go. We're going to bring our elbows down to the mat. So now we're in this position. So what I want you to do from here is take a big breath first. Let's just take a breath in this position. Breathe in and exhale. All right, let's do a little internal rotation of the hip. And to get that internal rotation right here, I want you to lift your foot off the floor. Now, this side does not lift as high for me. You might notice a difference from side to side. I really do not want you to feel this in your knee. It's coming from right here at your hip joint. It's a subtle move. It's not a huge move, but we're rotating the hip. We're lubing up those hips, ladies. We got to keep those hips happy. They're one of the basic foundations of our body. Our hips are what move us first when we walk. You might think it's your feet, but the movement comes from your hip first. So let's lift that foot up again and take it down. And lift the back foot up and take it down. And let's do it one more time. Lift that back foot up and take it down. Okay, so now we're going to externally rotate at that hip. And you don't need to know what that means, but we're just working the hip both ways. So we're still in this position. You still have your rib cage over here. You're really working that rib cage to the right. Now I want you to bring the knee up off the floor and your foot stays down. Lift the knee. Lift the knee. Lift the knee. Now, if the knee and the foot don't lift much on this, just stay in this position. You might want to come up out of it for a second and go back down into it. If you're stuck with that knee not moving, stay in the position. Just come up and go down. And just keep breathing with it. Keep breathing with it. And if any of you are really stuck with something and something does not move, I want you to contact me, Chris Kissel. You guys know how to get a hold of me. And we're going to work on that part of your body. Okay, I'll give you some moves to do. So we're going to come up out of this. And I got sidetracked. I'm trying to think what else we did in that position. I think we're good. Come up out of this. And let's go down to our backs. I want you to grab a yoga block if you have one. Should have told you that ahead of time, so I'll give you a minute to get it. You're going to have a yoga block and maybe a pillow for your head or something to prop your head on into a tilted position. So once you get those, we're going to go onto our backs. And we're going to take the yoga block and put it between our knees. If you don't have one, you don't need it, okay? You're just going to keep your knees lined up about hip width apart. I'm going to roll down. So I want you to roll the spine down. Remember, we did it like a dish rag and we got it all wrung out. Now you're going to just curve it one vertebrae at a time down to the floor. So I want you to sit like this. And what I want you to do is slowly, slowly drop your chin to your chest and just keep your back round and lower your back to the floor, holding your abdominals in. Lower it down as slow as you can, one vertebrae at a time. Lower it, lower it, lower it. And then the head goes all the way down. And once the head's down, try to keep your chin. I won't use this ball, but keep your chin directed a little bit towards your chest. What I want you to feel is the back of your head on the floor, not the top of your head on the floor. So you want the back of your head right here onto the floor. Your knees are slightly bent. You might have a yoga block in between your knees, you might not, but we're going to do some pelvic tilts where we're just going to engage this pelvic area and the lower abdominals, and we're going to get that spine curving into the floor. So what I want you to do is place your palms on the floor. Drop your chin to your chest so you're gazing towards the top of your knees. And I want you to take your belly button and press it into your spine. So pull your belly button in, and then this pubic bone right here is going to tilt up gently towards your nose. You're not lifting anything off the floor. We're just getting a tilt right here. And I want you to hold that tilt. Keep holding it. Keep holding it. Think of your back rounding into, your low back's rounding into the floor. And then go ahead and release it. Very good. We're going to do that all over again. So remember, you've got the back of your head on the floor, not the top of your head. If the top of your head is on the floor, and you've got an extended curve into your neck, you need an extended curve back here to keep your back happy. So your back needs to be lifted up off the floor. What we want to do is ground it to the floor. And it's very important whenever you're moving your back that your neck is tilted the same way as your low back. So that's why we're putting the back of our head on the floor, our chin towards our chest. We're looking at our knees. We're putting our palms, gluing our palms into the floor. Give them a nice firm press, not through the floor, but into the floor. And now I want you to pull your navel into your spine. It's a very subtle move, but we're flattening our spine into the floor, flattening it into the floor, looking at the top of our knees. Keep flattening that spine into the floor. Get it nice and tight. You are engaging these lower abdominals. If you've ever had a C-section or any kind of abdominal surgery, these guys get cut open, and this is the best way to get them working again. It can be 40 years past surgery and it'll still work. And then release. So when you release, you should feel your back relax a little bit more. Let's do that one more time. Back of your head is on the floor. You're gazing at the top of your knees. You're taking your palms like little suction cups and pushing them into the floor. You're going to tilt your pelvis toward your nose by pressing your navel into the floor. And let's hold that press. Nice tilt, nice tilt, nice tilt. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. Keep that tilt going. Keep it going. And then release it. So when you're loosening up your low back this way, I want you to be as conscious of the release, the time spent in the release, as much as the time spent in the contraction. So we're releasing it now for 6 counts. I'm going to take you into tilting it for 6. I'm going to count it out for you so you hear this long 6. So this is very important. So let's get in position one last time. The back of your head is to the floor. You're looking at the top of your knees. Suction cupping your palms into the floor. That gives you a little neuro input. And then I want you to pull your navel into your spine, and we're holding it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And release it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do one more. Contract it. Pull the navel in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And release. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job, ladies and gentlemen. What I want you to do now is we'll take the yoga block away if you had one. I want you to take your feet and open them up as wide as the edges of your mat. Keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. Open your arms up and bring your arms out to the side. Just your palms are gently, or the back of your hands are gently placed on the floor, palms up. And from here, I want you just to drop both of your knees over to the left side. We're going to do a slow windshield wiper, but as you drop those knees to the left side, I want you to keep your right shoulder down and relax. So just go as far as you can with that shoulder staying down. We're getting a little twist through the spine and opening up the hips this way. So we're still concentrating on the spine. And I want you to take those legs and I want you to drop them over to the right. The knees go to the right, the left shoulder stays down. This could be a different story on this side. You might not go as far, you might go farther than the other side. Bring them back to center. Let's do that 2 more times each way. I want you to drop your knees to the right, but you're keeping your right shoulder down. And if you want to add a little twist to the spine, you can look over your right shoulder. So rotate your head right. Nice job. Bring it back to center. Let's drop our legs to our knees to the right, and let's gaze over towards the left and keep our right shoulder down. We're getting that spine so nice and lined up and strong and fluid today. We're going to do one more move for our spine. We're going to come on up and we're going to go to hands and knees. So come over to hands and knees. We're going to do a little rotation of our spine. So what I want you to do is I want you to take your left hand and place it in the middle of your body, right under your head. And your right arm is going to go behind your back, okay? And so your right arm's going behind your back and your left hand's here. So now we're going to flatten our feet into the floor. We're going to bend our hips back to our feet. And we're going to come down into a child's pose. But as we're in this child's pose, we have our elbow right between our knees. So you're going to use it as a little lever, okay? So my elbow's right between my knees. My left hand's on the floor. My right hand is behind me. I'm down here into child's pose. And from here, I'm just going to rotate my rib cage, the left side of my ribs towards the right. And I'm going to open up and let the arm and hip arm follow along. So we're moving that rib cage again in that twist. Now, because we're in this nice fold right here, we're not twisting our lumbar spine. We're twisting our thoracic spine where your rib cage is. So you're opening up in that rib cage and take it down and relax out of it for a minute. And then I want you to give me that nice twist. So think of the rib cage. The left side of the ribs are going right. Moving your rib cage to the right. Stretching out all that part of the spine that's in between the ribs. That's your thoracic spine. And let's come back up. And what we're going to do is just take our right hand. I'm going to turn around so I'm facing you. We're going to take our right hand and put it right under our chin. The left hand goes on the small of your back. We're going to push our hips back to our heels. Our feet are flat into the floor. And our knee comes down, our elbow comes down between our knees. So you guys have to, so basically your right elbow is kind of alongside your right knee. So when you twist, you can use that as a fulcrum. So what I want you to do is I want you to think of the left side of the rib cage, or the right side of the rib cage opening to the left. I can't see you, my hair's in the way. And come back to center. So we're down here in this fold. We're protecting our lumbar spine, our low back. We don't want our low back to do a lot of twisting. It's to bend forward and rise up. Our middle back job is to do a little bit of the rotation. So what I want you to do is keep that low back locked out by keeping down in this child's pose. You're taking your right ribs towards your left leg and you're opening it up. That looks wonderful. You guys are doing such a great job. And then come down. And let's do that one more time. So when you're in the car driving and you've got to look over your shoulder, this is what's supposed to happen. Your low back's supposed to stay happy because your legs are bent and you're twisting from this area of the body. And you're not yanking on the shoulders, you're using the spine to rotate you. Nice job. Come back up to center. Let's stretch that left leg long. So curl your right toe under. Take your left leg straight and just rock back into that foot. We've had those legs bent up quite a bit today. So rock back into that foot, keeping that leg straight. Oh, that feels so good. Let's lift that foot up off the floor, put it back down, up off the floor, put it back down. Bring the left knee in, extend the right leg back, rock back on your heel, rock back, get the ankles moving. So important. We can do a whole segment on ankles someday. Keep those ankles moving and then lift that foot up and down. Your hips should feel nice and loose. Your spine should feel just so good today. And come back to your seated position. You are done. Thanks for joining me this morning. I hope you feel like you've had a massage. I hope you can take a couple of these movements and incorporate them into your everyday life. And I will see you again next Wednesday.